de tudo, um sentimento bom que me leva pro outro mundo. A vontade de te ver já é maior que tudo. Não existem distâncias no meu novo mundo, tipo coisas da sétima.
And welcome back to the greatest podcast in all of space and all of time. I am live here with Nima Moridi, the Ninja Realtor, and we're back in the house. It's been a short hiatus, but we're back. We're large and in charge.
Large and in charge. You were down in Vegas recently. My brother saw you at the Mandalay Bay.
Yeah, it was crazy. I hear my name, and I kind of looked the other way, like, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know who it was.
You got fans, bro, in different states?
Nah, they're just friends I haven't met yet. Well, actually, I've met your brother a couple times. His brother's awesome.
There was a guy in Atlanta that stopped you at the airport. He goes, "Hey, I know you from your podcast." And now you were walking around the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas, beautiful Las Vegas, and you got stopped there too.
It's happened once or twice. Like people, there's some people that recognize the show and they're like, "Oh man, I really like your podcast." And my answer is usually like, "Why?" No, I'm kidding. I'm really appreciative of it. It's pretty cool. I have a lot of fun making these. I really enjoy it. It's just kind of an extension of training, extension of jiu-jitsu, just another way to kind of make friends and new training partners I haven't met yet and stuff. But it's pretty awesome, man. I'm very humbled by it. I don't know how else to really describe it, but no, it's actually Las Vegas is 2 weeks ago. So basically, starting at Pans, I was down there. So 3 weeks ago, came back, and then just a few days after that, I was in Las Vegas. It was my birthday and had some things to attend to, and then I had to go to my cousin's wedding this past weekend in Los Angeles. So it was literally a loop of San Jose to LA to San Jose to Vegas to San Jose to, Los Angeles again. Actually, further southeast than Los Angeles. Once we got to the Grapevine, it was still another 150 miles, which
that's some distance.
And we drove that one, so that was kind of a trek.
Yeah.
But it's good times. I just want to be home for a little bit though. Just kind of get back into a routine here, training at the places I normally train with the people I normally train with. And, I've gotten out there and mixed it up and gotten weird enough lately. I kind of just want to be home and hanging out with the dog and kicking it and stuff,
Yeah, totally. I mean, as I said, there's no place at home, and it's always nice to be able to get out in different cities, different states, and train at different gyms and see people that you know from different areas, right? Network and build rapport. But it's also nice to get back home and get back to work. And you're like, all right, man, I've been working remotely for a while. It's time for my boss to see me at the office again.
Yeah, it's good to sort of hit the reset button sometimes and get back into the groove, the routine. Man, a lot of stuff has happened recently, right? Pans was pretty awesome. Had a really good time sort of hanging out down there. Las Vegas, as usual, is Las Vegas. I'm not really on the strip doing much there, but it was still a good time. I wound up renting an SS Camaro, but not on purpose. I'm really good at doing the coupon codes for the rental car companies, and I tried to use Turo this time, that kind of Airbnb car thing, but this time it was way more expensive. So I just hit up Avis, and usually when I buy my plane ticket, there's some rental car coupon that they send you after the fact.
Yeah,
and I have my my kind of points thing, the rewards for, with the different rental car companies. So I'll sit there and I'll mess with the different coupon codes. I'll, look them up on Google or whatever, look through your email for, they always advertise at you and stuff. And I managed to come away with for 4 days. If you paid prepaid, I think I paid a total of $100 for an SS Camaro. I mean, I think I asked for the full size car. I was trying to get a regular, 4-door thing, because I'm not going to sit there and rent a Camaro. Wouldn't do it. Just didn't seem very practical. I just never really wanted to do it. But they ran out of regular cars, and of course, we have this nice convertible for you, sir. It's if you want a convertible, and went out there, and it's a 500 horsepower thing.
Rocket.
The back seats, the back of the front seats actually touch them just anyway. I think they're just there for insurance purposes, just to say it's a 4-seater, so it's a cheaper insurance rate.
Yeah.
But
you're welcome.
It's really a 2-seater. I can't imagine safely putting adults in the back seat of that thing.
I can imagine Bailey just riding shotgun, like, whoa, snap, where are we going?
Yeah, it's a pretty fast car. I mean, it has all these different settings for traction control, and I think it has a track mode, a sport mode, and a couple other things. And I figured out how to get it in track mode with the traction control off, and it has it's like an 8-speed paddle shifter on the column. And I've never been in a rental car before where it was actually legitimately pretty fast. Like normally they have governors on them to make sure you don't go too fast. Like you're not supposed to be able to rev the engine past a certain thing. Like, you notice rental cars, like they're real restricted.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I'm pretty sure there's like computer programming in there, you know, so it's, you know, people aren't going out beating the shit out of their cars, but,
and getting into like high-speed chases with law enforcement or something in the Las Vegas desert.
Yeah, pretty much any of that stuff. But this thing, that was not found. I mean, this car was fast, and you can go real fast in it, and I didn't see it, you know, being restricted in any way by any kind of programs or whatever. So I didn't need all that car for what I was doing. I'm just basically driving back and forth, you know, to some gyms in my mom's house and stuff. But
hey, you get to roll in style.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny though. I try to put the convertible top down, and the trunk kind of folds up and out, and you wind up getting half of your trunk space taken off whenever you bring the convertible top down, because it kind of hides it.
Oh, right.
It like hides it in the trunk kind of thing. It's pretty cool. Like it looks like a transformer when it's doing its thing. But yeah, it's I can't imagine owning one. But, you know, just to whip around a little bit, and when it's nice weather out in, you know, Las Vegas, it's just fine. But
those haul ass, huh? Especially when
American
muscle.
It's supposed to be 500 horsepower, which is kind of a lot. I can't imagine what this damn thing weighed, though. It's I'm sure it was pretty heavy.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise, you know, just trying to get back in the grind of things. I had a pretty decent cold. I got over, and now just like getting my chest and, you know, all the crap cleared out of it so I can breathe properly on the mat.
You got to use those cilia, man. You know, the cilia, those little hair-like follicles.
The hair-like follicles?
Just push it up. Yeah. What it does, they're almost like rowing action. They're all the way down like your esophagus, and then they just help push that mucus and phlegm up. And they literally, they operate like rowing, like rows, like, you know, when you row a boat, for example, and just pushes it up, and that's when you like cough out stuff. FYI.
So the cilia gets rid of the mucus and the phlegm.
Gets everything out there. Yeah.
Where do you get that?
It's actually created inside you. It's androgynous.
Androgynous?
Androgynous, I guess that's the right word. Intrinsic. Yeah.
Intrinsic?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the cilia is like these little hairs, and they just push stuff up.
And is there a particular technique in order to do all this stuff? I mean, they go.
Yeah, you do that. Like that.
So you're saying to kind of cough?
Yeah, you just kind of you just bring it up. So it's like the work in an overload.
What you basically just told the listeners is to clear your throat.
Yeah. You're silly. You're welcome.
Now I know the technical term for what I've been trying to do the last 2 weeks.
I told you I dropped out of medical school, right? You know, once upon a time I was there. I lasted a year. I learned a few things, this being one of them.
So it could have been the ninja gynecologist. Right?
The ninja gynecologist.
It's got to be better than the ninja proctologist or the ninja urologist.
Yeah. I like ninja realtor better than all of those things. But it's kind of interesting just to know, like, when people ask me, like sometimes they'll ask me at my open houses, hey, what did you major in college? And I say, interesting enough, molecular and cell biology. So, you know, no, I'm a realtor. That makes sense, right? Like, how did that happen? Like, that's a whole other story.
Well, you know, it's you can maybe do both somehow, right?
Yeah. I'm like, hey, I'll operate on you, and then you need a house? You need a house? You need to sell a house? I got you on that too.
There you go.
That would be so like Iranian of me. Like one, like, oh, like you need a loan? I got you on that used car. Okay, put it on my lot. Oh, you need to buy a house too? Yeah, I can show it to you after I sell your car.
You're also an attorney.
And I'm also an attorney.
Exactly. You got a notary public, which is just, of course you do.
Yeah.
Wait, are you actually a notary public?
I'm not a notary public, but you know, my dad was actually. My dad for a while was a notary public.
I think my mom might have been.
Your mom too?
I think so at some point, yeah.
You got to diversify, brother, right? You got to diversify. I mean, this is why we make the LLCs, we make the S corps under our names, right? We can a jack of many trades, but you don't want to be like that guy, like how the saying goes, jack of all trades, master of none.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's the latest? You saw Gary Tonin's MMA victory last week, right?
I did. Yes. And then something else that I sent to another one of your fellow black belt stablemates, Vu Tran. I sent him Martin Nguyen. I didn't know there was a Vietnamese guy in the in MMA, but apparently there's one in ONE FC.
Oh, I'm sure there's more than one in ONE FC.
He trains out of Australia, who told me.
There's well, ONE FC is a pretty big promotion, man. They put a lot of money into the production of those shows.
It's really big down there, in Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
How did Gary Tonin end up? I mean, did they just offer him a boatload of money? Like, hey, come to Southeast Asia. We'll pay you $1 million a fight. Something like that.
What about, what's his name? Funky. Ben Askren. Funky Ben Askren. He's in ONE FC too, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's like a lifer there.
But see, he had some issues with UFC, remember? And he left, and Dana White and him got into something. And
I thought he never actually fought in UFC.
I don't know.
I don't think he did.
I thought he was supposed to, at least. I'm not sure if he ever did or not. You better than me. But I do remember Dana White saying actually something pretty funny on Twitter. He said, Ambien takes Ben Askren to go to sleep. And this was a knock on your wrestlers. Sorry, David Mitchell. Wrestlers and being boring in MMA, apparently. That's what Dana White thought of Ben Askren.
I don't know. I mean, I think he's got some personality to him. He's a pretty charismatic guy for being that boring, right?
I thought so too. I've heard him on podcasts before. I thought he was good, and he seems like a very intellectual guy.
Yeah.
And he just he gives back a lot, and he just has this huge passion for grappling and wrestling, and he coaches. And in fact, he said, which I didn't know, that he was planning on just being like a high school or college wrestling coach. Nice. And he decided to go to the MMA route to make some extra coin.
He seems pretty reasonable. I mean, I have no reason. I mean, I remember when CM Punk was, joining up over at Duke Rufus's spot, and that's, obviously where Ben Askren trains. Mm-hmm. And, at first, he seemed pretty skeptical of it, but after he got to know him, he's actually a regular guy. He's out here, he's grinding, he's working like everybody else. And so he seemed, like a pretty reasonable guy, and he's really talented. And I mean, you got to be a good wrestler to be successful in mixed martial arts, I believe. I mean, you've got to have, at least some of it. The conditioning these guys has. You think about like kids, with all this, bullying stuff you hear about in schools. It's like, put your kid in wrestling.
Yeah.
Then he ain't a bully no more. He's just not. They work harder, man. The grind you learn, in amateur wrestling, it's insane.
I think so too. Like I'm big on that about combat sports, wrestling or jiu-jitsu, like from a young age. I'm attracted to it because there's not much striking, so I don't have to worry about those types of things, right? Affecting, I don't know, like getting hit wrong, you know what I mean?
But as a Persian dude, like genetically, like your wrestling's kind of your thing, right?
Yeah. I guess I was just like one of those weirdos that like never went into it. Even my dad, when I was younger, my dad was like, go to do wrestling, and I wasn't into it. I'm like, I want to do striking.
Your dad was a wrestler.
Pops was a wrestler, yeah. I mean, I watched the Bruce Lee and Jet Li movies, right? And I'm like, I want to do that. Like, I want to strike. I want to freaking kick someone in the head. And that's why I went down that way. But I mean, had I done it differently, I never would have gone into like soccer and football. Let's say in high school, I would have done wrestling.
Yeah, man. I would have taken it way more seriously at a younger age, knowing what I know now. I mean, the base you get to build for yourself, just the conditioning, way it changes your body, man. That callus, right? Mm-hmm. You want that when you're normal, is that grind. I mean, just the gas tank you'll have on you for everything else, the don't quit you'll have, the determination, right? So it's that the training, just getting the process of getting good at it is just, it's so much in terms of like character building, and then just building your body from the inside out. I don't think there's anything better. Jiu-jitsu, obviously,
even for competition, right? I mean, because they compete so much, wrestlers.
Yeah. And it translates really well to what we do. It translates really, really well. And I feel like in jiu-jitsu, we're constantly defending. I mean, so more so now you're seeing the legs being defended than ever before.
Mm-hmm.
But traditionally, we're just kind of defending our upper extremities, like our neck, our collars, whatever, and arms, elbows, shoulders, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the legs aren't being defended the same way like a wrestler would, right? So I mean, we sprawl because we sprawl, but just the act of actually defending your legs, like in Spider Guard, if you know how to defend your legs, like you shouldn't be swept basically ever.
Oh yeah.
But I just feel like you learn a lot.
Yeah, and speaking of guards, I really liked what we worked on today. That's a position that I find myself in a lot, from half guard, and your partner stands up and you shoot for that. So it's like a reverse De La Hiva to back take, right?
Yeah, it's not quite an Imanari roll, but I mean, you're basically taking the back from between the legs, like you're in reverse De La Hiva, basically. You take your cross hand to the back of the leg that's in the De La Hiva, the hooked leg, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're kind of spinning underneath to back take. And you can take them down a few different ways. I mean, if it's gi versus no gi, you have the belt as an option. You can sit them down on their butt, or you can launch them kind of forward the way we're doing it today.
Yeah. So so that's not quite a berimbolo, huh? Because I'm sorry for all the people who are like casually into jiu-jitsu and not like really deep into it. I don't mean to be boring, but because a berimbolo would be a full roll, right? And we're kind of doing a half, locking into the back of the knees and taking them down.
You're doing kind of a little, not even really an inversion. You're just spinning underneath them.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's really all you're doing. You're leading with your hand, kind of. So if you go head first, your shoulders are going to block the way for your hand to get through.
Okay.
Right.
I like those little daring moves, man. I always like to shoot for those. So it was really applicable to me. I liked it a lot.
I mean, it's all on timing, right, and how you set that up, and you kind of want to mess with their base a little bit. If you can take your the other leg, the one that isn't hooking his leg, you can kind of mess with them a little bit, but it is daring. It's timing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's up now? We got EBI going. Tatsusora.
An older EBI, yeah. An oldie but a goodie, as they say.
Man. Oh, is that what's his name, Gordon Ryan?
Yeah. With your boy John Donaher.
Is that?
Donaher Death Squad. I saw that man in the corner.
Seems like a cool guy.
I'm really happy that they have these EBIs on Fight Pass. Sometimes when I'm getting my run on in the morning, if I'm doing it on the treadmill, watching a little EBI is always an awesome thing to do.
Man, someone's outside smoking a cigarette. It's annoying. We got the back door of the Casa Cronin over here open with the screen door and everything. It's a nice day. I wanted to get a little air in the place, but someone's out there smoking a cigarette. It's bad for you. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah, kids, don't smoke cigarettes.
There's too many people in the world, though. Maybe.
So, as you were saying about, sorry to interrupt, as you were saying about Gary Tonin, about ONE FC, I immediately started thinking about your boy Jake Shields and how we grapple with him, we train with him, and how much of a freaking world beater that guy is. But he was helping Gary a lot with his striking before this fight, right?
I think so.
I saw something on social media for it.
Yeah, he's out there now. I mean, he moved to New York and he's doing the Donaher Death Squad thing, or the just training at Henzo's with Donaher, full time now. So that's awesome for him. I mean, I think it's a really good fit. It's a great coach, very cerebral, right? Very
yeah.
Everything's like very deliberate. It's cool having that academic kind of perspective on things. You can kind of really, break down how things are going and have like a scientific approach to it. As opposed to like being very reactive.
And very much so. And listen, John Donaher, if you're listening, I love you very much. But man, your posts are like novels.
Yeah, they're very the Instagram post, right?
Yeah. I try to read them at the red light, but it turns green before I finish.
Yeah, these are not in the car things. Like you look at the photos, and they're usually pretty cool pictures. It's got like GSP and stuff on.
Yeah.
Someone winning something, and then there's some very thoughtful, long, it's a very thoughtful message.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell he put some thought into it. I enjoyed that the Joe Rogan experience and his posts in general. I think he's pretty insightful, and the wearing a rash guard out in public as like regular clothes is kind of odd. But
Yeah.
I'll be honest, when I go to the to the gym or anything like when it's like very casual, gym wear, my daily outfit's actually pretty similar. It's funny. Mine when I go lift or anything like that, just go to regular gym. My outfit is sweatpants, sneakers, obviously, and then I wear compression shorts under them just because if I'm doing any cardio, like I got some thighs on me. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to chafe.
Chafing. You don't need to chafe.
Not trying to chafe.
Yeah.
And then I used to wear a tank top all the time, but underneath, like, so I moved from doing that to a rash guard all the time. And then I wear like a zip up hoodie, a hooded jacket, like on top of that, headphones and ball cap, like, whatever, with the fanny pack.
I get that. That is very Clinton, actually. Yeah. And the sneakers are always designer. They're like Jordans, Yeezy, something like that.
No,
right?
I wear
the latest of something.
No, for the gym, if I'm doing any kind of powerlifting, it's the Chuck Taylors, the high top, the old school, like black and white, the original Chuck Taylor Converse. But if there's like cardio stuff involved or just like real active kind of moving around, right? Any dynamic work, I don't know what the hell you want to call it. Stuff where I'm moving around a lot.
Portal.
Yeah.
Movement coach.
And then I use the Adidas Ultra Boost Uncaged. They're the most comfortable shoes on earth. They have like that prime knit, but the bottom is that boost stuff, which is basically like we're walking on really happy marshmallows.
Nice. So it's like, I like that happy marshmallow.
They're like happy. Like if you're on a treadmill, it like each step bounces you into the next one. It makes you want to run more because it kind of does it for you.
Oh, I kind of like that.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah.
It's really nice. They're Adidas Ultra Boost. There's the ones that have like this plastic cage that has like kind of an extra structure for it.
Yeah.
But then the uncaged ones, I've actually, I've thrown them in the washer before to like clean them and stuff. And then I realized you don't actually need the laces in them to wear them.
Oh, wow.
And you can I'm probably not going to run without tying them, but it's like an elastic like sock thing. So you can just do just about everything except for like performance sort of athletics without the laces at all, and you're fine.
Anytime you're like cleaning, powerlifting, or like let's say you're doing some running on a treadmill or even outside, do you ever wear those shoes that look like gloves?
Oh, the 5 fingers? No.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's guys that are really into them, but honestly, I'm not like a hobbyist or like serious runner, obviously. And I think that's really more of like a running enthusiast thing.
So it doesn't help with let's say your posture. I don't know if someone ever told me that, if it was just with running or that too, but they say like, we weren't designed to wear these big thick soles on our shoes or whatever, and we say, well, we wear them from comfort, right? But they say if you really want to get like the best optimized workout, like let's say do your cleans with wearing those or run with wearing those, because like the way you run, for example, on the balls of your feet when you wear those is better for your joints and your knees. So
this is basically the same argument that barefoot runners make, and this is the compromise. This is people that don't want to be out in public in bare feet, that want some protection, but still want to actually feel like have their feet in their natural sort of splayed out position, getting the type of traction and connection with the earth that you would get if you were running barefoot. Yeah, yes, we were born without shoes. We were also born without Priuses. I'm doing just fine without a Prius.
Yeah, touche.
So, I mean, I'm kidding. I don't give a fuck if you drive a Prius. Just don't hit my car with it.
So we got some of the older EBI fights going on right now, or matches, I should say. And so for absolutes, like what is that, like 195 and higher?
No, absolute is open weight.
It's just open weight. Huh?
So generally in a tournament setting, you would win your division or medal in your division at all, right? Gold, silver, bronze. The extra bronze when there's 4 people on the podium, whatever. All of those people are eligible generally. Like, and so let's say we're talking like an IBJJF style jiu-jitsu tournament, BJJ tour, what have you. Doesn't matter, right? Similar. all of those people can register for the absolute division. And at that point, that's when you see people like getting like double gold or, whatever.
Yeah, like this weekend.
This
like
weekend.
Guys,
yeah, we had some guys killing it. Tyler Shu, a One World Jiu Jitsu alum.
Jiu
Jitsu. And also he's been on this show too.
Tai, shoutouts. TBS, ABB, Asian Boy Killer.
That's it.
There's a lot of nicknames.
That's a lot of nicknames. I didn't know any of those. I just remember when he used to fall asleep in class, like standing up, and now he's really, he's like all grown up and like pretty good at jiu-jitsu and good wrestler and stuff. So yeah, he got double gold this weekend at Rumble in the Redwoods over at the Enza College. Double gold, purple belt, and I'm guessing what is it, like featherweight? I don't know what weight it is. Maybe lightweight.
I think he's like in the 60s, early 60s.
So lightweight. It's 167.5. Yeah, because he's gotten a little bigger.
Yeah.
Like he's adulting now.
CrossFit.
Working on that adulting. Yeah, no, I've actually seen him at 24 Hour Fatness the last 2 days in a row. Him and Jian.
Oh, Jian Lee.
Yeah, they're over there. They were doing some Airdyne, bike thing, and yesterday I saw him. I had my little battle station set up, so I had the squat rack set up with the bar for deadlift. So I'm like I'm trying to recover from the sciatic nerve pinch shit. So I had a 45 on each side, I had a kettlebell, a yoga mat, and I was like, I'm doing the circuit between basically stretching, foam rolling, doing inverted stretches and stuff like that, to kind of elongate the spine in between sets. But what I was basically doing was I would do 10 deadlifts. Then I would drop down 20 push-ups and then 20 kettlebell swings. And then I would do foam roll or inverted stretch in between for a minute between sets.
So you got your whole little circuit training set up going there.
Yeah, I did like 4 or 5 of those in a row. And those guys were working on some cleans and some front squats and stuff.
Nice.
And then lunges with the bar loaded in the front.
Every time I go to AKA San Jose, I do something like that too. So, they have the like the teardrop bag and the regular heavy bag and the ring. What I'll do is I'll pull one of those dummies into one of the rooms because I go in the little Muay Thai room.
Be like, come here, dummy.
Yeah, come here, get over here. And then so in that way, I can kind of work. I can wear my MMA gloves and I can work my striking from let's say from mount or like side control and dropping elbows, just basically like your ground and pound and transitions. Practice my mounted triangle, and if that doesn't work, turn them around, things like that. So I'll work that. I got a little jump rope in station too. So then after that, because I have the bell going, and I'll work that. And then I go to this medicine ball. It's 15-pound or 20-pound medicine ball, and there's grips on the side, which is pretty cool. Thank you, Ha, for getting that for me. And then I'll just do the diamond touches, left and right, for that. And then I'll get in the ring. I'll pick up these 5-pound dumbbells, and I'll do some shadow boxing. And that way, because I don't lift, right? But with those 5-pound dumbbells, and what they do for me is they work those shoulders, when I'm like throwing and stuff like that. So for me, it's practical. And I got my headphones going too. And I finally got Spotify Premium, so I'm throwing with the ads. And so I'm excited about that, right? I got a wicked playlist, bro. So I'm working that, and then I'll jump out of the ring, the next bell, and I'll just hit the bag, and I just kind of go in this little circle. It's good stuff.
Very nice. So you're off in one of those side rooms, and are you upstairs or downstairs?
Downstairs. So if you go downstairs where they have the Muay Thai room, and they have a ring, and there's a door, and it closes, and it's insulated well too, so you can just blast music. Nobody really messes with you. It's perfect. That's why I go down there, so that I like it.
I think that might be the one where we recorded the podcast with.
It was you, Javi, and Alex.
Yep.
Because you guys were talking about it, I'm like, that's the room I always hang out in. Because I listened to that episode, of course.
Very cool. Yeah, the one we used with the one we did with Justin Willis was I think upstairs in the top right corner.
Oh, the wrestling room, it was grayish.
Yeah, and the one where we did this one was it was downstairs in the far left corner of the building.
Yes,
the other side of there's that centerpiece where how the lockers are kind of in the center.
Yes,
and there's you could be on the front or the back. This was the front.
Okay.
Closer to the office, kind of. I think behind the office, if you had to look at it from a bird's eye view.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a bigger building.
That bottom left room, man, I like it a lot. I mean, just because they have the ring too. I mean, it's pretty realistic, and sometimes I'll jump in there and I'll spar with some of the guys. I mean, you got the ropes right to work on. They'll corral you into a corner, and you could just get that feeling, where you got your hands up and you're just kind of blocking these shots and just how to circle around and get out of it. You know what I mean? Counter back. So it's a very realistic training for striking. I like it a lot. Unfortunately, as much as I love our gym, and I do call it the little gym that could. Apparently, you guys had a boxing ring there back in the day. I didn't. I never. Wasn't around for that.
Yeah, we had that ring for years. It was there from when the gym opened for years until just a few, like maybe just a couple ago. I don't remember exactly when Alex sold it or did whatever. I mean, I'm sure he sold it, but it just took up a lot of space. And if you've ever, put together a boxing ring or a wrestling ring or whatever, like every once in a while you want to take it apart and kind of straighten out those boards and retighten the ropes and everything, because the way the canvas was set was there were a couple of boards that were kind of like starting to overlap one another, so you can get kind of hurt in there.
Yeah,
if you didn't know where to step and stuff, and it needed to be adjusted. Like there was nothing wrong with the ring. It needed to be taken apart and adjusted a while ago. And just,
he's like an ass screw.
It just and it wasn't used that much. Like just when the striking class it would overflow.
Yeah.
And you'd need, one more space to, for people to work out in. I'd like rolling up there.
Yeah.
It was fun.
It's isolated, right? No one's going to get in your way.
I liked it because I was in, training, doing like the pro wrestling training at the time. So having the ring there was fun.
Yeah.
Because I could go in there and no one's there and just work on like falling, like taking bumps is what they call it.
Yeah.
Like learning how to fall properly. And I didn't have to go all the way to the south side of San Jose to do all that, or like the east side where the gym moved to. I was just able to go there and just practice it, but it started to suck because that board thing was overlapped, and you had to fall in the right place, otherwise your back's gonna be all messed up.
I wish we could have that stuff. It would have been cool, right? It would be cool to have some ropes like that where we can do live drills, realistic drills, or even a cage, right? Like a little bit of fencing, where we can just kind of like work on that pressure.
You have that one cage wall, but that thing ain't gonna hold.
Yeah, that's why. I didn't think that was gonna hold either. But
it's not.
If we can have something more sturdy, right, where you can just like, let's say, where you can ram someone like me into the wall, and then I could try to work on getting those underhooks and flipping around or whatever. I mean, yeah, we do have the matted walls.
The matted walls are there on purpose
for that.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not bad.
When we're drilling or we're training or whatever, if you get pushed up against the wall, man, you can just keep working.
Yeah,
You should. Like,
sometimes when we spar, we end up going that way.
If someone pushes you up against the wall, you're just, time out,
Hey, what are you doing? Yeah, stop.
Time out. Guy that's assaulting me, just let's move over here. That'll be, way more polite. Man, so Gary Tillman, the guy that gave him, it was a good first opponent. Gary looked better, and I mean, he was bigger, he was stronger, he was more physically imposing than that guy. I don't recall his name. I've never seen his opponent before in my life. But Gary outclassed him, and it was his first fight. But I'm sure just the caliber of training partners he has and he's been working with. He came in there super confident, just kind of playing around. And it was cool. It was cool to see that he was already able to get to that kind of, flow state for being so new at the sport.
Right.
You're not going to give him a world beater for his first opponent. Like any smart promoter is not going to do that. Like you want to be able to build this guy up. He's already got a huge following between Jiu Jitsu and all his social media exploits and all that. Right. So it's smart of ONE FC to give him somebody that's, not exactly the best guy in the world. You want to build the guy up. It's like, look at these boxers that they're like 30 something and 2 or
they pad their records a lot.
Well, they look who they fought. Like, you got a lot of tomato cans in there.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that's what this guy was, but I'm saying it's good that he went out there. He got enough. He fought a guy who it wasn't too much of a danger for him, and then he actually the submission guy wins by TKO, right?
Yeah, he got a high mount and just finished him off like. Psh, 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 psh.
Good. It was cool. I mean,
your fellow. Brunswick, New Jersey. Well, you're from Tom's River, but your fellow Jersey guy.
He's not from New Brunswick. He's from Forked River, isn't he?
I don't know.
Fucking, I talked to his sister and his mom were over at EBI when I was there, and I'm pretty sure they said they were in Forked River or something.
Have they all relocated to LA, or do they still live out there in Jersey?
Oh, I really don't know. They were in town for that.
Okay, so most likely probably still in Jersey.
We were online for the they had a co-ed restroom at the Orpheum Theater, and his mom was, joking like, well, in New Jersey, there's a men's room and a women's room. This is weird. And
welcome to
she just made the comment, and she was like right in front of me in line, or right in back of me in line, something like that. And I just said, well, I'm from Tom's River, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I'm just waiting to use the bathroom. But she's like, oh man, fucking river, Tom's River. Blah, blah. They're really friendly. It was cool. It's like, what are you doing here? She asked if I was, on their team, if I trained at, Ocean County Jiu Jitsu, whatever it's called. No, I'm up in NorCal. I'm just here for the event. But yeah, he killed it. That was the EBI where he beat what's his name?
Wagner Hosha.
Mr. Wagner Hosha.
Yeah.
So that was a very long event. It was fun. Boogeyman, he won the welterweight, EBI combat jiu-jitsu title.
Mm-hmm.
But the Wagner Hosha matches, it was overtime every time. It was one of those grappling podcasts said something like it was a 2-hour event and a 2.5 hour of Wagner Hosha overtime.
Damn. So, which fight was the combat jiu-jitsu one where Wagner used his freaking palms? And, I think he took the back and got his hooks in and just freaking palm strike the guy and broke his jaw? Something like that?
That was the one where it was a knockout, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
dude, what?
The next combat jiu-jitsu event it's like title versus title, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm excited.
It is. It is. So here, look it up. You got the gimmick right there.
Mm-hmm.
Nima's iPad. We got to name it.
Yeah, guys. Patty. So I use this iPad every day at work to listen to Bloomberg Tech for business and finance news, or just building rapport with my clients and knowing what's going on in their industries. But in the evenings, just like the Ninja Realtor, I transform into grappler and fighter man. So I got to bring out the UFC Fight Pass.
You Purell that thing, right?
This thing?
Yeah.
I use a little wipe.
Okay.
It's not Purell, but yeah, it's like disinfectant. It's like for electronic. You can do it on your phone.
Well, it's like the book from that episode of Seinfeld, because he couldn't return it because they knew it had been in the bathroom. They could just tell.
That's a great fucking show.
It's a wonderful show. It's one of the best shows ever. Yeah. It's about nothing.
Me and my wife, we're I think on season 4 now. And
you're watching it now?
We're watching it now through Hulu.
Oh.
I got Hulu just for this, bro.
Do you watch his other show, The Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee?
That I've heard great things. We haven't watched it yet, so we're gonna watch that. But I've watched all of Curb Your Enthusiasm, ironically, before I watched all of Seinfeld.
That's funny because it's about him,
right? Yeah, exactly. So Larry David is the man. Speaking of Priuses, right? So we're gonna finish Seinfeld. I'm gonna watch Curb Your Enthusiasm with the wife, so she can watch. I'm gonna watch it with her, even though I've watched this, and then we're gonna go to that one. It's the Comedians and Cars and Coffee.
I like the Howard Stern episode. So I'm a Howard Stern fan. I enjoy Howard Stern.
That one we're going to watch next. So should I check EBI 16? Is that what we're searching for?
Well, yeah, whatever the next one is.
Okay. This is some good radio. Hey, Jamie, why don't you put that up on the big screen?
We have a Jamie?
We don't have a Jamie.
We used to have he had another kid.
Hey, Asian Camera Boy.
It's
one or two.
It's Asian Cameraman number 1. It was Sunny.
Asian Cameraman number 1. Actually,
I think we upgraded Jason because he did something good. I don't remember. That sounds all funny.
Where's Sunny, by the way?
No, that's him.
Where though?
No, it hasn't happened yet. You're pulling up replays. Just go to Wikipedia.
Wikipedia?
Yeah, EBI. What did it say? Oh, you have the app?
Hell yeah, bro.
Is it EBI 16? Isn't it the next one?
Yeah. Eddie Bravo. Invitational.
Yeah, right there. So while you're looking that up, there it is. Next one. Is it 15? No.
So clearly we can see that it happens in 2 to 3 month increments. So would it be safe to say late April, early May?
Yeah. Whatever. We'll find out. Anyway, they're doing a title for title match. Or it's for the welterweight title. The other guy's moving up. I want to say it's So is Wagner Hosha the other combat jiu-jitsu champion right now?
Yeah, I think. Man, I should have done some research before.
Yeah, well, whatever. Anyway, the funny thing I've been sort of following a lot of it is Ronda Rousey's transition into the world of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of her stuff on YouTube?
I did. Yeah, I saw it on Bleacher Report. How she just like walked in with her leather jacket and like picked a fight with some other chick. I don't know. I'm assuming you would know who she is.
Oh well, it's the story they've been kind of building for 2 years now. It's the one of the owners of the company. It's Vince McMahon's daughter and the COO of the company. It's like they're doing a tag team match, but
okay,
it's obviously she has a judo background, but she comes off really timid.
You think she's just kind of hurt from what happened?
No, I just don't. I think she's really, really shy. Like she comes off really nervous on the mic. That stuff's less about, going out there and being a real amateur wrestler and more about like theatrics and the show and, being loud and speaking up and, telling a story. So it's, I don't know. It's, she's getting a little better, but the mic stuff is kind of it's taking some time.
The UFC really messed up with that. I felt bad for Amanda Nunes. The last fight, they seldomly talked about her. It was generally about Ronda coming back, and I know they got to do their thing, right? I get it. I get marketing and all that jazz, but I don't know. They kind of blew her up a little bit too much. And
who, Amanda or Ronda?
Ronda. They seldomly talked about Amanda. Everything was Ronda and her mansion in the Hollywood Hills, Mulholland Drive, ready to come back with my man Travis Brown. Yeah, Hoppa next to me. It was a little too much.
Did you? So I passed you a link to a podcast last week. It was Chael Sonnen on Talk Is Jericho. And at around minute 51, this is a podcast that was released about a week ago. And so to recap, and it's not really a quote necessarily, but I'll recap. Basically, Chris Jericho, who's a pro wrestler and other stuff, rock guy, and he's does a whole bunch of stuff throughout pop culture. He's like, whatever, he's a pro wrestler, but he's done other shit since. Mm-hmm. He's been in Sharknado, so clearly he's a movie star too.
There you go. What wasn't that other blonde chick in that Tara Reid?
Everyone is in Sharknado. You're
Sharknado.
You're probably in one of them.
Actually, that'd be really cool because then I have an IMDb.
That'd be
pretty
cool.
dope. I want to be on Sharknado. Get at me.
So Chris Jericho basically said, so Ronda Rousey, so she was on this huge tear, and then all of a sudden after she lost that fight, the next fight she was like a shell of her former self, like she wasn't the same again. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, "What do you think happened? Do you think that the loss just changed her?" And Chael Sonnen said, "Well, let me break it down for you. And the truth is, it's not very nice, but I'm just going to tell it anyway." He goes, "The truth is, Ronda was never very good. The rest of the girls were just worse."
Interesting.
And that judo was, to say it politely, like terrible as a base for mixed martial arts. And no one, has ever not just not been a champion, but not even been like a contender, like a threat for a championship in mixed martial arts. And no high school even considers judo to be like, there's no judo in high school. Like that's how like low he believes that judo is when, that's how low, like little he thinks of it when it comes to mixed martial arts. I thought that was kind of brutal. I thought the part about Ronda was, the way he said it wasn't great, but the level of women's mixed martial arts when Ronda was coming up versus the level now, these women are way more, way better.
Yeah, I can see that. The game's better.
But he was basically saying before, if you were a woman in mixed martial arts and you wanted to, be a contender for the title, he's like, okay, sign up. Here you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Like that's all it really takes. But I mean, it's harsh. The level is much, obviously higher now. It's much more competitive now. There's freaking some amazing women out there. not, and all throughout sports, but, MMA specifically. And, Ronda was the one that got Dana White's attention and got all the publicity and did a lot for women's sports in general.
Yeah.
But if you look at some of the women now, you see in the UFC and Invicta as well.
World beaters.
There's some killers out there.
Manny Nunez.
Cyborg.
Yeah.
So Cyborg and is that fight inked yet?
Cyborg and who? And who?
Amanda.
Oh. I don't think so, because what class would they fight in? So I don't think Cyborg can go down to 135 again.
Do you think that Amanda Nunes would have the same, do you think she'd have a problem going to 145?
I wonder. I don't know. I think she can. I think that'd be an awesome fight. I think if they were to fight, it would be like much more readily at 145 than it would be at 135, because what happened to Cyborg in that last weight cut, remember when she had to take all those roids or whatever because of...
What was it, though? Was it diuretic? What was it?
I don't know, but she said it was because of the fucking brutal weight cut. So because of that, she goes, I can't fight at 135 again. They made me do this. I'd rather do it at catch weight at 140. So I don't see her going back down to 135 personally. And what you said about Chael kind of makes sense now that I think about it. I can see where he's coming from. I mean, he may have been a little bit more brutal about it.
No, he was. So if you guys want to listen to what I'm talking about specifically, go to about minute 51 of the Talk Is Jericho podcast, and it's the Chael Sonnen episode from, I want to say, about a week or two. Like, he's been on there, I think, a few times, but it was from last week or so. So sometime in the end of March 2018, check out Talk Is Jericho podcast, Chael Sonnen, minute 51 onward, and you'll hear the conversation kind of, and his critique of, Ronda and, her post loss career in MMA moving forward is, it was pretty brutal. And, whether or not it's accurate, I mean, it's there's certainly something to be said about the level of women's mixed martial arts now as compared to like the beginning of the 2010s.
Yeah, I mean, and she did medal at the Olympics, right? Which is freaking awesome. She did medal in Beijing, but let's remember, and this is from training with one of our double black belts, so it's a black belt in judo and a black belt in jiu-jitsu. A lot of the takedowns that we work are very centered around, let's say, grips on the gi, grabbing the lapel as well, for example, with the throws. And then you think of it in an MMA setting, right, where you don't have that, you take that away. I can kind of understand a little bit of what he's talking about how judo maybe isn't like as great as, let's say, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, or even Muay Thai for MMA, transitioning over, and maybe the talent wasn't really there compared to now. Some of that can make sense to me, yeah.
I feel like as a base, if we're talking about, just the level change at all, that I would rather build from a wrestling background. If I wanted to start somewhere, I would rather start with wrestling.
Yeah, me too.
But then again, who's coaching you? What's the goal? There are plenty of wrestling style takedowns in judo. There's a Japanese name for the single and double leg and every variation and everything in between. And judo is not just grabbing somebody by the collar and elbow and doing this ippon throw or something, right? There's a lot more to it. It's just the techniques you pick to sort of think of when you think, oh, this judo's this or this. It's a very deep set of techniques that's got a long history. But then again, I mean, what you traditionally would see in jiu-jitsu or judo versus like wrestling competition, those types of throws and controls and things like that, like I feel like pretty much what everyone is seeing is the striking is something between like American kickboxing or Muay Thai with the hands coming from Western boxing, wrestling, and then jiu-jitsu for the submission stuff.
Yeah,
is pretty much been the recipe, right? And cross training and just excellence across all of it, and along with that, like Olympian level cardio and conditioning.
Yeah.
And without that,
pretty much.
And without that conditioning, like, good luck. Because all that technique's for fucking nothing if you're laying there gassed.
Dude, that's why I've been working on freaking running so much. And Jake tells me that I shouldn't do that, and I should work more on the technique. But I told him, I said, listen, I'll do that too, but I got to work on the running. And he says, I don't work on any cardio ever. I've never had that issue before. And I told him, Jake, listen, I don't know, maybe you were made in a super lab or something, but for me, just like what John Jones said, fatigue is the worst thing. Fatigue is your biggest enemy. And I can tell you from my other tournaments that I would get gassed out. I mean, obviously it comes with experience as well, but I would get gassed out a lot more. And now, I mean, I still have a lot more room to go, but I think my endurance and my calmness has gotten better.
So the running, I mean, any athlete, you know, you should be fine running. I mean, running should be part of it, but cardio is also very action specific. Mm-hmm. So if you're competing in jiu-jitsu matches and jiu-jitsu tournaments and things like that, having as many hard matches and just rolling as much and as hard, and you know, the interval, the ability to explode, and then you know, it's very action specific. So yeah, running's great. Do it if you're already doing it, because you want to have that cardio capacity. Like, you want your heart to be able to pump blood you know, efficiently and all that. But, you know, just being able to go out there and rolling hard and doing as many rounds as you can.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, having those actual matches, right? Having those super hard matches at
the pace, at a competitive pace, against, you know, real resistance, and
it's like a simulation, right, of the actual tournament.
It's not a simulation. I mean, it is what it's exactly that. It should be that close. I mean, you got to have hard training, and otherwise, when you go out there, and if something's a shock, then the training, something went wrong. You shouldn't be surprised. I mean, unless it's some new move you've never seen before. Like, but just going out there, and if it's the pace or it's the pressure or it's you know, you should be able to weather the storm, right?
Yeah.
It's like there's going to be a lot of situations where you just get smashed, but that should be okay. You should be able to keep your calm, and going out and just training with people that are going to maul you. It's good for you that you keep your composure. Then getting tapped a lot. You get tapped a lot in training, great.
Yeah.
And hopefully that translates to not getting tapped in competition, because you've seen that before. You've experienced that level of pressure, right? Mm-hmm. It's you know, every once in a while, you know, you're either the hammer or the nail, right? You'd much rather be the nail in training.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've been showing up so much and just trying to train and get better and better. I do get tapped occasionally by the lower belts, but generally the ones that are doing the tapping are the black belts and a few of the brown belts. But then here and there, like, I'll get another tap there and there, and it's just I do have a kind of a funky style, but at the same time, I've been really trying to work on a lot of the defense. And I was talking to one of our guys earlier today, and he's like, you know what, I don't think you go as hard as I do, and I think you should go harder, like when you train. And I say, well, you know, like, first of all, I appreciate you saying that, and there may be a little bit of truth to that, but I just want you to know that a lot of the time I let them put me in those situations because I want to work on these transitions that I'm actually working on, and being able to break out of it, you know, and turning it around on them, basically, instead of just going freaking beast mode like Buzzsaw all the time on my opponents. You know, it's just not really my style.
Yeah, there's a time and a place to sort of turn it up, and if you're preparing for something, I mean, like, it helps to train deliberately. I mean,
there's nothing taken away from that. 100%, you're right.
But
for sure,
at the same time, just sort of going ape shit to go ape shit. It's like it's the equivalent of just, instead of going and having a drink after work, going and, you know, just trying to get your rocks off, having a fight on the mat, you know.
Yeah.
Guys that just go as hard as possible all the time. It's like, look, what are you doing?
So there's actually a guy in our gym that did just this. I sparred with him a few weeks ago on a Friday. This guy goes super hard, right? He comes out guns blazing. And I don't know why he has to do this, you know, but anyway, I ended up kicking him. You know, I got a pretty good liver shot on him, and he buckled his knees and went down. And he left after that. And I kind of felt bad. right? Because I'm going to spar with this guy a lot. But it's kind of like when you're going to go hard with someone, like someone is going to meet that. And eventually someone I feel like will get hurt, right? So there's like that fine line, right? Where you're getting ready for competition. But at the same time, everybody has a plan until they get hit in the face. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to do something. Let me tell you, if we're working strikes, right, and you start punching me in the face, well, I'm going to get angry because I don't like to get punched in the face, and I'm going to hit you hard too. Or if we're freaking grappling, right? If we're trying, you're going to put me in if you're going to cross face the ish out of me super hard, well, I might get upset with that, and I might try to, come back at you. We're all like that. It's just human nature. But it's like, these things kind of have to be expected. And I don't want to put all of my energy to prevent this guy from taking my back when I can go, let's say at 50, 60%, let him take my back. And then from there, after he gets the hooks in, I can just be like, all right, just like what you told me. You told me this before my first tournament. You said, if you get your back taken, remember to always focus on the arms before you focus on the feet, right? Hand fighting first. And then you address the hooks, right? So it's like, all right, I'll let him get my back, and I'll be mindful of that, and I'll work the hand fighting, and then I'll work out of that. So my point is that I don't have to like get all of my energy to prevent this mount or prevent from getting my back taken during training when I can allow it to happen. Not 100% give it to them, but let it, and then work on that defense to counter back and get out of it.
Yeah, it's you'll have guys that are like they have their comfort zone. And they'll only go to this one thing. Like that's what they do every single class.
Yeah.
But then if they're stuck, if they're expected to go in a different position, against somebody else, or like someone new comes in and like they're not able to get to their favorite, their comfort zone, you know what I mean? Like they're not able to have like their comfort food on the mat. And then they're like, all of a sudden you see that there's a big limitation because like they don't know that position.
How are we going to get better like that, right?
You don't like
when that happens in a tournament. What are you gonna do? You're gonna fucking panic.
Yeah, yeah. Like knowing how to kind of chill and conserve energy sometimes because you can have somebody just like all over you, and sometimes you just gotta weather the storm and protect yourself. Be like, well, this guy's on top of me right now, and well, let's see. I gotta keep him, out of my neck here, out of my collar and stuff, and see if I can get him to commit a little bit too much up and, bump and roll, then we're good. You know what I mean? But if you panic, it just sort of feeds that more.
It's adrenaline dump, like you told me, right?
Adrenaline dump, yeah. But like if someone can tell that you're like emotionally compromised, that you're like kind of panicking, it's just going to feed into it. They're going to go for the kill even more. So I like that idea of game face, just kind of having the same facial expression all the time. I don't, I try not to show any kind of, I try not to emote when I'm training. It helps, Mike Prudencio, he refers to it as game face, and just having kind of like this blank kind of expression the whole time. And they don't know when, if you're sweating or not, if you're this close to tapping, they're not going to know.
Yeah.
The other benefit is, you can just, it's a confidence thing.
Bro, that reminds me of my fellow countryman, Gegard Mousasi.
Yeah, like that. Like you never know. Like, and yeah. I've had people think like, man, you look like bored or something, like just like this look of contempt on my face. And it's like, no, it's not that at all. It's just something I've been doing forever. And what it also does is normalizes my breathing.
Okay.
So I'm not like,
you're more calm, right? Because you know what my dad says? My dad says this is all back to sales. When like this, like sometimes he watches MMA fights with me, right? And they're squaring up. He says, everything is related to sales to me. I'm like, how do you see sales in this? What are you talking about? This has nothing to do with sales. This is what I tell him, right? And he goes, absolutely not. You see, that guy, one of them is smiling. And when he smiles, just like when I smile, when I talk to my clients, it immediately puts me in a happier mood, and it elevates my mood. That's basically what he's saying. And if you're angry, if you're stone-faced, if you're, frowning or whatever, then you're immediately going to get like more anxious, more angry. And he said, you're just not going to appreciate it. You're going to use up a lot more of your energy opposed to the guy that's smiling. And I started thinking about smiling Sam Alvey. He's always smiling every time he's walking. I was like, what's up? He's super excited, just living in the moment, really happy. And as I'm smiling when I'm talking to you right now, it's immediately just kind of...
It's a biohack.
Putting my mood, yeah.
Total
it's
biohack.
Elevating my mood. And I'm like, fucking pop. I see what you're talking about.
Yeah. If you're feeling down, you can just like, if you start like just really loud, if you speak kind of up and like not down here.
Yeah.
Like this isn't happy. Happy's here. Like I'm in a great mood. I'm in a great mood. Like you say it enough times loud, it just happens.
Yeah.
You are.
They say tonality and body language, 80% or 85% of a conversation. And I'm like, well, what's the 15 or 20%? The words.
Yep.
The words are like a fifth of the actual conversation.
Oh,
it's me looking at you. It's making right. It's the body language that I use, my hand gestures, my excitement. You read that a lot more than actual freaking words that I'm telling you. That's crazy.
I mean, because if you say something like this, you're like, thank you for watching the show. But if you're like, you are watching the greatest podcast in the universe, Ninja Moridi, Nima Moridi, the Ninja Realtor, blah, blah, blah. I didn't even have to say it right. And I'm still saying it with charisma because I'm emoting and I'm saying it up here and I'm projecting. But if I say it down here, you're probably not going to think very much of it. Yeah. No, it's like, Daria from MT, from Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
It's really monotone and down. But if you say it like this and you say, welcome to the Clint Cronin Show. This is Nima Moridi, the Ninja Realtor. We're back in the house tonight and we're here to talk about the greatest jiu-jitsu shit in the world. And people are like, that didn't make sense, but we like it because you're here with us and you're emotional and you're all fucking stoked.
Yeah.
And people are looking for that. Like it's all about like the delivery, the charisma, like your connection, right? It's that connection shit.
It's radiating, right? It's people like that. People like to be around. Like, as they say, misery loves company, right? There's a guy in my office. He's a newer agent. He sits in one of the cubes. So every time I walk out of my office and I'm going to get some coffee or a green tea, I hear him, right? And he's prospecting. And I love this guy. I want him to do well. I've actually known him for about 15 years. He's one of my buddies. But he's super monotone like this when he talks to people. And I told him, I said, listen, if I was a prospect and I heard you talking, that would put me to fucking sleep. It's so boring when you talk because you're super monotone. And I'm like, the words are super valuable about what you're saying. You definitely have your value proposition there. The problem is you're super boring to listen to. Oh, nice. You're super boring to listen to. So it goes back to what we're talking about the tonality and just like, busting that out. So with fights, it's always great to just be excited, right? Like you're super happy to be present. With me, I got a few affirmations that I say that kind of help me keep my mind sharp and just be like, hey, I'm here. I'm not going to play their game. I'm going to do what I do. Even if they go super hard on me, I'm not going to try to match that because that's not my style. I'm going to do with what Nima's style is, right? And I'm going to be confident with it.
She immediately went right in an article.
And then, hey, shout out to Want First Need, though. What's up, Allegura? And that's just my style. And every time I roll with someone who's really putting a lot of pressure on me, I'm going to want to match that pressure on them. I'm going to want to smash pass, fucking cross face them, you know what I mean, and be more aggressive, but I'm going to do it my way. And I don't know if I'm doing it right or wrong. I mean, you have so much more experience than me, so this is kind of like a question that I'm posing to you. But my thing is, you got to do what works well for you. At least this is what I think, right? What I've been training for the years that I've been in jiu-jitsu and what I'm most comfortable with, and not try to match them, because if I try to match them, I'm kind of like in uncharted territory, and I don't think I'll do as well.
Yeah, you're supposed to, play your own game, right? It's like if you're constantly following,
mm-hmm.
What's the view look like, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like how's the view? You're just looking at the back of the person's head. You're looking at ass. You know what I'm saying? So at some point, you got to pass. Like, you got to do your own shit. Like they always say, like, be first, all this stuff. Like, it matters. It means something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fight. And if you're not trying to impose yourself in the fight, like, what you doing?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could always sneak around and like try to pull the Hail Mary, but ultimately it's a fight. Like, you don't always want to win by technicality or by like an advantage. It's a fight.
Right.
I mean,
as like you said, what do you always say? This is fight school.
Yeah, like sometimes it's hard to get up. I mean, the nature of it, the scoring, people don't like the old IBJJF rules, whatever. It's not realistic, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. It's fucking most of the people that sit there and critique jiu-jitsu and it not being like a good self-defense art are fucking fat and useless and don't train anyway.
Adelaide Bird.
Huh?
That coach. A terrible coach.
Oh, I don't know what the fuck that is.
Adelaide. She's the woman that. I mean, she. To say that women. Listen, we don't want backlash on the Clint Cronin show. I'm not saying women that can't coach. There's just one specific woman, and there's a lot of men that are probably like this too.
Is this the lady from the Instagram where she like disarmed the person with the gun or whatever?
I don't know. Okay. That may have been her, but this is the fucking bat that freaking had the Canelo and Triple G fight. She fucking ruined that, and other fights as well in the USC. Her name is Adelaide Bird. She's terrible.
Is she a referee?
Yeah.
Oh.
No. I'm sorry. She's not a referee. She's a judge. She's a
judge. Okay.
She's a terrible judge.
Okay. I don't know what the fuck that is, but oh man.
So then they got the Tony Weeks, the Sal, whatever, and Adelaide Bird. She's one of them. She does boxing and she does MMA. Okay. She's always been shit. But apparently she's a very nice woman. She just should not be referee.
There's lots of nice people that are bad at their jobs.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She's just really, really bad. I watched this boxing match. I'm like, are we watching the same fight, Lee? I mean, you're supposed to have more experience than me. Are we watching the same fight?
I was watching, you just cruise around through YouTube, and then all of a sudden you're on some random channel you've never been to before.
Oh, yeah.
And this one guy, he makes a lot of top 10 lists, and this was the top 10 people that should not have fucked with professional fighters. And it was these, and one was the one where like some guy came and challenged Josh Koscheck over at the old UFC headquarters. And, he put on gear, signed a waiver, and just got the shit kicked out of him a couple times. And Josh laid into him. Like, he could have been meaner. You know what I'm saying? But who else was it?
Did you ever see that video where that guy called out Rogan for Jiu Jitsu?
Oh, this is forever ago. You can tell how old it is. He's like
he had hair.
He had hair, but he found him on MySpace.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he talks shit about Joe Rogan through MySpace. This is back when Joe was a brown belt through 10th Planet. Uh-huh. I don't know if he even had his Jean-Jacques black belt yet, but yeah, Joe Rogan is
put the beat down.
He's a very experienced martial artist. The dude he's not that tall, but what is there is fucking pretty stocky, man. He's got some fucking muscle mass on him, and he knows jiu-jitsu. He beat the crap out of this guy. It was an old ass video.
You see Rogan when he had Vinny Shorman, that Muay Thai coach, Vinny Shorman.
So when I was driving back from LA the other day, I had that on, but I started losing reception. So I wound up not listening to the end of it. But it was the one guy was a kickboxing champion, the other guy was like a hypnotist, like kind of make mental coach.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So look at Rogan's strikes, man. Not bad for 50, yeah. Don't sleep on Joe Rogan.
Remember when he was showing the turning sidekick to GSP?
Yes. Yeah. I do.
It's not a bad sidekick. It was not a bad sidekick.
No, it's not. Dude, he used to. I mean, I didn't know this. You've known of Rogan, and I'm assuming
he's like a national Taekwondo champion.
Yeah, the Boston days, right?
Yeah.
He was super good at. I got into Rogan later in life, but this guy, even his striking, look, I mean, the fact that he has a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and I don't know how often he trains striking. Look at this. This is crisp.
Well,
this is not bad at all.
He was a very high-level, martial artist early on, and then he's trained the whole time. I mean, he got into UFC as a fan. Like he's been working for him since the 90s.
Yeah.
So that he has good strikes is not at all surprising. And look who he's friends with. Like he's everybody.
Yeah.
Like his job is to basically watch the best fighters in the world.
That HGH just look good on you, bro.
Is that what he's doing?
He does. He says that he got into it after 40.
Was it GH or testosterone or what?
I don't know what are like the subtypes, but he just says HGH.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh.
They said that he's been on it after 40. He got on it, and he said, "Now I'm 50 years old, and I've been training like I'm in my early 30s." He
looks like he's in his 30s. He looks great. Right? Looks fucking great.
I'm like, I'm about to get on that. Hey, can you imagine? You got to get your little emblem on that too in your home gym, bro.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. I need some logo merch. I've got all the mock-ups ready to go. I'm just waiting for the print shop. Got some T-shirts and jiu-jitsu gi patches and probably some stickers coming too.
Nice, dude. I need a patch for my next tournament. Hopefully, you'll get it by then.
Yeah, I think the first run's going to be pretty small. So the crew will get them. We'll give some podcast listeners a chance to get some, and stuff like that. But I want to keep these batches kind of small. I don't want to be stuck with a bunch of them. No, I'm kidding.
You're doing the whole shoy roll business method, huh? We will release a certain amount, right? The demand will skyrocket, but the supply will stay the same or decrease, and let the market drive it.
I don't know nothing about that. I know that there's this great brand that's local here to the Bay Area called Want versus Need.
Yeah.
That
I like that segue.
They produce a fine kimono, and also the shorts and rash guards and all that sort of thing are wonderful, as well as hoodie right here.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta thank the big time show supporter and a friend Al Legura for hooking it up. This is a lovely it's like a heather gray pullover hoodie by Want versus Need with like the contrast white drawstrings. Beautiful. And
I wore my Want versus Need rash guard today.
It was lovely. It was lovely, and I appreciate that. Full disclosure, I'm part of the team there. I'm a Want versus Need athlete.
I actually wanted to. I'll be real. I actually wanted to pick up a new A&P gear during the holidays, and I got that message from you right before Black Friday. I think it was. Yeah, it was on Thanksgiving.
Oh, for the Illis Want versus Need. It's a lovely gi.
I got super excited. I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, when I get home, I'll buy it. I didn't want to buy it on my phone. I'm like, because we were at one of my wife's friends' parties. I'll get it when I get home. My mistake I made is I bought it after 10 o'clock, so I didn't get the rash guard that came with it. So I was like, damn it. Because you were rocking that rash guard today and was looking money.
You still didn't get it?
Yeah, but because of you, I was going to get the Albino Pareto fit, but I went towards Want versus Need. So I got the Illest and Want versus Need collab, and then after that, I also had to get the Nogi matching outfit.
I wound up actually going to the there's the place they alter clothes and sew shit. Mm-hmm. Like anytime I have a gi and just like clothing in general, like that's Travis Navaza. Anytime I have some gear that needs to be adjusted, whether it's like business or like even jiu-jitsu related, they always hook it up. So and so. They're not that cheap.
Is it called so and so?
It's like so SEW and SO. I think
I like that. There you go. I like my own words. I like that.
I have them, patching up my gis and stuff like that. I should probably just get a sewing machine. I don't know how to sew. I'd make a mess. Like I'm not the artist guy. Yeah. But I had a pair of ripstop pants that were just like the absolute wrong size. They were huge, like parachute pants. Mm-hmm. So I brought them over there. They're like, oh, you want to just put a patch on these? I'm like, yeah, but also. And I was like, take an inch off here, take an inch off here, take an inch off here. Like, whoa. Hold on, let me make sure we have the right machine to deal with ripstop or whatever. I'm like, yeah, sure you do. It's fine. I know you do. Bring in the inseam, make them shorter, make them like less balloon leg, kind of whatever you want to call it, balloon legged.
Yeah. It's like MC Hammer style.
They were MC Hammer pants. They were. It was like an old Illiski I had. I had all these Want versus Need patches. I'm like, we're just gonna convert this.
Hey, did you see the graphic about the white belts like kit to jiu-jitsu?
No,
it was on Instagram. It was on one of these things. It was really, really, really funny though. Kind of bums me out though that you didn't see it, so it's not going to be as funny because there's going to be a slight delay while I look for it. But this is something that I definitely have to look for.
It's not quite as relatable because I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
It's a terrible segue.
I know. It was fucking terrible.
Let's see. I know that guy. He trains over with fucking some of my Czech Pat friends.
I know what I'm going to do here. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's right. What do I got coming up? This got the next few guests coming up are going to be cool. Oh, here we go. The Jiu-Jitsu saved my life. Jiu-Jitsu changed my life starter pack. A white belt with a little Brazil patch.
The shaka?
The shaka. An acai bowl.
Us.
And saying os. Yeah,
look at that's Elliot Marshall. Look at Elliot Marshall.
That's pretty legit.
Yeah. He was loving it. Look at that. It's too true.
It is. Yeah, you have to. It's funny too. Like that acai bowl is probably like 1,000 calories and so much sugar. It's by the time you add all that shit to it, it's basically an ice cream sundae.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, no, it's funny, man. It's cool if they get stoked about it still. It's cool, like just figuring all this stuff out, figuring out, oh man, Brazil's this awesome country, and you know, it's girls and the big asses and beaches and the music's different.
Obrigado, Deus.
And then they got these this other martial art where they're doing cartwheels and dancing, kind of, but you don't really get it. And, yeah, man, it's cool that they're stoked about Brazil. It's cool they're stoked about jiu-jitsu. And it's neat because when you get into it, it's people usually go from being like not very in shape to getting like kind of ripped and having the six pack. Then by the time they get a purple belt, they're all fat. So they realize like they were working 5 times harder than they had to. I'll be like yelling, like, I just move your hips that way.
That's what you always told me, right? When you said, remember, when you get to that stage, stop missing warm-ups. Don't think that you're too good to miss warm-ups.
Yeah, do the warm-up.
Yeah, because then you're going to get fat. And then get injured.
You know, it's cool. Like,
get even more fat.
If jiu-jitsu ever starts seeming like it's a routine thing, I invite you to attend a seminar. Go compete. They're just small things to reinvent, or like take a private lesson with somebody like you admire, like somebody that you always wanted to go and travel to and go and train with. Like, yeah, like mix it up a little bit. Especially if you feel like, and you're like, oh man, I'm plateauing. Like, no, you're not. You're just not trying new shit. You stop being lazy. Work harder. This weekend, it's going to be pretty cool. I'm going to be going over and training with some friends. We got like Joao Assis, doing a little seminar there. And then right after, we've got Tess Kovic, and Judy Gomez. They both competed at Pan Am's, 2 awesome black belt ladies from here in the Bay Area.
They go to open mat, right? I think I've seen them.
Yeah, they've been kind of in the Bay Area training here. They've been kind of staples in the area. Both are awesome competitors. Tess and Christina Barlan have had many battles, like super fights over the years. So both super cool ladies. Tess got gold in pans in her division, I believe. Judy got silver, so it's going to be really cool. Going to have them on. So it was basically a seminar. They're going to be coming over, dropping in the studio over here, and gonna put down some magic for the crew out here. Podcast listeners will be in for a treat. And soon coming up this summer, I got the Kataro guys, so the jiu-jitsu belt guys. Finest jiu-jitsu belts in the land. They're made in the USA, and it's really great workmanship. Like all my belts are Kataro. Want versus Need will be coming out with some soon too, so I'll be rocking those. But in the meantime, Kataro, they're handmade to your specification.
Is that one in the bathroom, your black belt, is that a Katara one?
So that's the newest ones they started making. That's actually it's a gi weave belt. So it's made of, it's new, so it's still not really broken in.
Okay, because I felt, I'm like, damn, this is nice.
Yeah, it's made of the gi weave material.
All I can do is touch it. Just like
the belts that we have for like the black belt promotions, they're like the satin black finish, like the 1.75s with embroidery, like, and you can even have like a custom logo on it. The cool part is, they also do stuff for like Breast Cancer Awareness Month, just like Want versus Need with the gi. They have a belt. So, the black belt has a red rank bar, right? Well, there's one you can get from them with a pink rank bar where some of that money goes to breast cancer awareness stuff. And then they also have an Autism Awareness Month variant belt where it has like that puzzle kind of logo for autism awareness. So you can get a belt with that on there, and some of that, the proceeds from that go to autism awareness, charities, that sort of thing. So it's it's cool that it's another American company that they make the stuff by hand here. They send you a real personal they let you know when the belt construction is starting, and then when you get it, you get like a nice little personal message in there, and they're real nice. They're not all that cheap. Their starter stuff. I mean, the cheapest belt you're getting out of them is I think like 40 or something, $40-50, and you're getting up into like 100 or 2 at the top end.
I mean, that's like how much the Datsusara ones are, right? Kind of. I was looking for one of those from you. I want to get
Datsusara. This is another great company. They produce, it's hemp. It's hemp. Hemp is amazing fabric, and a lot of that cost goes into just the legality behind just growing hemp and having import from Canada and all that stuff. And whether it's American grown or not, I'm not sure, but it's an amazing plant that has so much potential to do so much good. And I hope
it's 4 times stronger than cotton. I didn't know that.
It is
antimicrobial, antifungal.
And the also like the number of like deaths that go into the so the production of just jeans that are made out of cotton. There's like a lot of deaths every year that go into that production, like for whatever reason. But with hemp, there's none. Apparently, with this somehow the process.
Do you think it's because it's fair trade opposed to like sweat labor?
I don't even think that. I think it's that. I think like it's just the process of like the removal of like the seeds from the cotton itself and shit. Oh. If I had to guess, right?
Yeah.
But I'm probably just talking out of my ass because I don't actually know. I'm repeating something I think I heard somewhere else, like most people do.
Yeah.
Right? Most people.
At least you're not saying, no, it's the truth. I heard it from someone.
And it's cool if I'm wrong too. Like, you can correct me in the comments. It's fine. But like, it's like most people on YouTube, it's like they're not Rhodes Scholars. They have cameras and they just talk loud.
Yeah.
That's all.
You guys don't get your news from Facebook too. Come on.
Well, a lot of people fucking do. But anyway, this I think I've already plugged it enough, but big shout out and thank you to Want versus Need for all the continued support. I'll be making my return to competition jiu-jitsu the end of this April, this coming month, at American Cup for the illustrious BJJ Tour organization.
My man's making his comeback.
I've got a spot lined up at the top of a couple of those podiums, and I'm look forward to seeing y'all from there. Otherwise, we've got some great shows coming up. Got Michael Hillebrand's coming up soon. We're doing stuff there. That's a 10th Planet Black Belt from San Francisco gym, and then we got Dave Camarillo on the hook to come do one of these two little crossover things.
Dude, that'd be cool.
We've been talking about it for a while now. We were meant to do something in March, but like that guy, for as much as he travels, I've been on the road every week too. So just nailing it down.
Come on, Dave.
I love that guy. Dave's awesome.
Position Impossible. Come on.
I was so stoked when he came out with his book. He hooked me up with a copy beforehand.
Oh, nice.
Before it was released. Hey, could you just read it and let me know.
I remember when I saw him at One World. That one day, it was like last year was during a weekday that I came up there because he was going to come through. And then I was wearing my Clint Cronin show sweater. Remember that? And he comes up to me and he looks at it and he looks at me and he looks back down and then he looks at you. He's like, you got sweaters now? Or something like that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, man. I was really stoked about it, man. That was funny. Dave's awesome, man. They're just cool people, man. Yeah. They're great martial artists. You learn so much from him, Matt Darcy, and that whole GJJ, the whole Gorilla family.
Grandma's boy.
Cool guy, man. Cool. I love JT.
Philosopher grappler.
Dude, spell check. It's still spell check to me. Man, and I don't know. It's all those guys dating back from the old AK and Hillsdale and stuff. Everybody's at different gyms now, and it's at first everybody's like, why do you leave to here? Why do you go there? I'm like, because that gym's closer to his fucking house.
Yep.
The South Bay is big. People move. People get jobs at different places. And when I first started jiu-jitsu in this area, there was 3 gyms that covered an 80-mile stretch or something. It was fucking hard. And I wound up moving closer to a gym to live, to not have to deal with that commute.
Killer, bro.
I've bounced on very lucrative jobs because I couldn't get to training on time. So, I know what it's like to have to think about that work-life balance and then how do we fit training in there?
Oh, yeah,
because
100%.
you need that buffer. You need that thing between work and home where you burn off that energy so you don't lay it down on your spouse, your significant other.
That's so important. That's so important.
You need that buffer, man.
Yes.
You need to fucking dissipate that energy. So by the time you get home, when your wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever is like, how was your day? Hey, check this out. They want the abridged version, but they don't want to hear you complain. Nobody wants to hear a grown-ass man complain.
I told my dad that you said that, by the way, and that's so freaking true. Nobody wants to hear a grown-ass man. There's nothing more unattractive than a grown-ass man who's sitting there thinking that the world is against them, yada, 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 fucking world's smallest violin over here, you know what I mean? Believe me, it's generally speaking, most of the shit you're going to be fucking complaining about is first world problems, all right? Number two, I tell my wife this all the time. I say, wifey, we do 3 daily gratitudes every night before we go to bed, 11 p.m. 3 daily gratitudes, meaning what are the 3 things that you're happy for in your day? It doesn't matter how bad of a day you had. There's always a silver lining, right? So we do that every time. And she can tell you, every single time, I always say I had a great training session. I had a great training session. I made it to the gym. I saw, I had some great rolls. I saw my family because the one roll homies, that's my family, And then I'll go into, I was working on some marketing things at work that was great. But I always start off and say, first and foremost, I had a great training session on the mat. So my point in saying that is to say that it makes me into a better person, as it makes most of us into a better person. You come home, you're in a better mood. You're less agitated. You left it on the mat. That's why you call it the last honest job.
It is the last honest job, man. Because by the time you get home, you're not thinking, oh, this guy's politicking me in the office. Fuck that guy in the office, and fuck your office.
I need a drink. I need this. I need a Xanax, whatever.
All you're thinking about by the time you get home, you're sweaty, fucking half broken, like your blood's going back to where it's going to go for the rest of the night. Mm-hmm. Your muscles are starting to let go a little bit or tighten up, whatever's happening. All you're thinking about is some water, a shower, and some food. And I don't care what order you do them, man. I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life, but all I'm telling you is those are the essentials.
Yeah.
The fuck with everything else. If you that's all you're thinking. And if you didn't train that hard to where you feel like you earned that meal, go back and train harder.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing, going and knowing you could have done more and you didn't. And you feel like you really didn't break that sweat. You really you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, dude, let me tell you something. That salmon burger and sweet potato fries hit the spot tonight. Because I know I trained hard.
There you go. I got my salad bowl from Chipotle. It's literally salad and meat.
Yeah.
And
you're such a freaking stud. You taught after you trained, and by the time you got home and got the mics warming up and everything, you only had 3-4 bites out of that thing. I was watching you.
It's fun for me, man. It's as cool as it is to go and teach and stuff. For me, it adds refinement, and it gives more because the more students to stick around and get better, the more we get better because we've got some guys up and coming, competing a lot. They're really excited. David's doing a great job going out, getting everybody out there and motivated on the mat and everything in the competition scene, and that just makes the gym better, man. It makes it feel like it's more of a team, more of a family. So just contributing to that and contributing to the community, and deep down at the bottom, the bottom line is it is all about community and And being able to add to that, my bit of it, even when I'm hurt, it's okay, let me double down and teach more. Okay, well, I'm feeling a little bit better now. Let me go out there and, get my damn wind back in my lungs and go compete myself.
That's why we have such an awesome team at AKA Sunnyvale. I mean, shout outs to One World. I mean, I'm so fortunate that we're under the One World umbrella, which is under the Gorilla umbrella. But for being such a small gym as we are at One World Sunnyvale, AKA Sunnyvale, half of the mat, think about the percentage of us people who compete that are on the mat. It's significantly high. And we have guys like you who I was competing at US Open, remember BJJ Tour? You drove all the way from Vegas to coach me, which thank you again
American
for that last
Cup,
year.
American Cup.
No, it was All Stars.
All Stars.
Yeah. You came all the way from Vegas. David Mitchell's there all the time. The amount of people that we have. I mean, look at Naga, 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
that was half of our roster. You know what I mean? I mean, you guys have done such an awesome job with motivating us. You, David, Jake Bell. Jake Bell always talks about getting out there and competing and just seeing how you do. And he always tells me the mistakes you make in a competition, you'll never make again on the mat. It makes you 10 times better as a jiu-jitsu practitioner. I mean, he always drills that into us. My point is that so many of us at that gym, on our little team at that gym, compete. And I think that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good sign that there's that solidarity and that guys want to just get better and they want to kind of give back and do more. I mean, you could go in and just punch your card, go in, do the minimum, get your workout or whatever. But that you want to push the envelope when you want to be better, and it gives back to the gym because the better you get, the better your training partners get. It's just it raises the bar for everyone, and I mean ultimately like that's what you want, right?
Yeah. And for having 400 square feet of mat, let's give or take, that's all we have, right? I mean, having on many days we'll have Vu, and we'll have Jake on the mat at the same time. That's not too shabby, and you guys all have a different style. You guys are all black belts, but you guys all have a different style of teaching. And then we just get to be the sponge that absorbs that. Like, all right, Clint emphasizes this. Jake, emphasizes that. Vood emphasizes this. And we could just get in there and take all that in, man. It's super awesome.
And it's fun working with all you guys. And, you guys get better. It makes us better because, you can't just be a black belt and chill. Like, you can't just sit there and get fat because, like, you're supposed to cultivate a student base that ultimately will be better than you. But if you're not constantly raising the bar and constantly improving yourself, at some point they're going to pass you. And then what the fuck? Like they're supposed to, whatever, you're going to get old and shitty eventually, but drag that out a little bit, make it harder. So, I try to be as active as I can and try to, just push the pace and go out there and seminars and tournaments and, going and training with different people in different places and just finding, the best guys I can to take some beatings from and, be able to give some back when I get home, as best I can look for. But man, it's been 90 minutes now. It's late. You got a missus to go attend to, and I've got a student body at 6:30 tomorrow morning at AKA Sunnyvale in sunny California, Sunnyvale, California. But it's 6:30 a.m. and ain't that sunny yet. But it's not that cold either, so get your ass up, come train. I'm there every Wednesday and Friday at 6:30 a.m. and probably coming soon Friday nights at One World.
Y'all make it happen.
In Newark, California. So come out, quality train. Otherwise, stick with us all spring, all summer long. The greatest podcast in all of space and all of time in the multiverse, bitches. This is the Clint Cronin Show. That is Nima Moridi. I'm Clint Cronin. I'm at Clint Cronin on Instagram and Twitter, but I don't use Twitter. So just come look at my sexy ass pictures. That was weird. Nima is the Ninja Realtor on Instagram. Check him out. You need to buy a house or learn something about that blue belt competition scene. Nima's got you covered. And then thank you, as always, goes out to my sponsors, Want versus Need. Love y'all. And
you guys subscribe and share. Clint Cronin Show.
Like, comment, subscribe, share, send it to a friend.